Okay, it is 10:57. We're at the Antelope Club on Saturday, May 22nd. I'm calling the SCC meeting to order. We are recording. The secretary will call the roll.
Okay, Chair Evan,
Present.
Vice Chair Lucy, present. Secretary, I'm here. Treasurer Michael Schultes,
Present.
Political Director Jared Hall, IT Director Chuck Hagerman,
Here.
Field Director Morgan Rick,
Here.
Student Director Rosalind Cowell.
She's sick.
Oh no. Hope she has a speedy recovery. District 1 Chuck Pullen,
District 1 present.
District 2 Elizabeth Cochliard,
Present.
District 3 Christie, present. District 4 still vacant, correct?
Correct.
District 5 Greg Nolan. District 6 is still vacant. District 7 Kent Williams. District 8 Micah Haynes. And District 9 Greg Hurt.
I'm here. I just arrived in person too.
Oh, yay. Well, we'll see it. He's lying. He's still in his car. I can see him.
I'm in my car, but I'm in the Antelope Club parking lot. Take a look.
Yes. All right, we'll see you in a minute. Do you have your key, Greg?
My key, no.
Rico.
Code, door code.
Rico's gonna meet you at the door.
All right, thank you.
It'll be a minute. He's still in his
Get this.
And then our Finance Director Rodney.
No, but he doesn't. He's a non-voting member.
Yeah, I know. And then we have guests Tanya Millis from, I think it's Lawrence County,
Lawrence County.
Danny Lundy of Morgan County, and Rico Gonzalez from Marion County. Any other guests that
That looks like that is it.
Are we able to share Zoom link like a foreign, or is this a closed meeting?
No, yeah, it's perfect. I mean, that's how Tanya got in.
Can you and
No,
we can-
you can. You've got the email. Check your vice chair email.
I
Send it to
didn't
him.
see it this morning on the second floor.
It's an event invite.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah,
that's probably
everybody
why.
else got it. Okay, I'm going to appoint Micah Haynes, the timekeeper. Good with that? Okay. Adoption of the agenda. Okay, it's been moved. Any opposed? Any additions or changes? Okay, all those in favor? Oh, Morgan.
I wanted to make an amendment to the agenda. I would like to add under new business, 10 minutes for discussion on the Libertarian Party's National Day of Activism.
Is there any objection to amending the agenda to include that item? Okay, so without objection, the agenda is amended. Any other additions or corrections? Without objection, the agenda is adopted. Let's see, day of service. Okay, I'll start with my chair's report. Had several meetings this past month with potential big donors. These aren't meetings where we walk in and ask for a $10,000 check. They're meetings where we get to know each other, find out what their issues are, let them know what we're doing as a party so that in the next couple of months, they'll cut a $5,000 or $10,000 check. We are just shy of 60 days since this new SCC was sat. 56 days to be exact. I know that a lot of the projects that we're working on, people are getting frustrated because they're not moving fast enough. If you hear from your people, remind them that it's been less than a month on a lot of those projects. And that in the past, it would be a year or two before they'd be done. So we're actually moving very, very quickly. And I'm sorry that we've had some delays. We did have an aggressive schedule for some of them, and unfortunately, some of those tech issues are completely out of our hands, and we are at the mercy of the national party and the national team for some of those things. But they are progressing, they are moving forward. We're going to talk about the CRM a little bit later today, and planning some training for that. As of this morning, we have 462 dues-paying LPIN members. At the convention, the start of the convention, we had 381 specifically LPIN members. So that is a pretty decent increase in less than 60 days. Revenues, as Michael will probably share in a little bit, continue to go up. So I think we're in a good position. I did change the Super Saturday events. I think it was a bit ambitious to ask for a daytime event that's a public thing, a dinner, fundraiser, and then an organized 94 Society breakfast the following Sunday morning. So instead, we've scaled that back to just being the Saturday event during the day. If we're doing something like in the 8th district, this coming Super Saturday is a park cleanup. If there is a barbecue or cookout after that, that's fine, but it's not a suit and tie fundraising dinner that evening. So I still want us to try to strive for that, but I think we need to break these out in increments. So this year, let's just focus on the Saturday daytime public event where we're doing something within the community. Next year, maybe we roll out adding the dinner.
And the breakfast is, yes, still on?
No, it's not on it. And then maybe the following year, we roll out the Sunday morning 94 Society breakfast. But let's maybe take some incremental steps to getting this. It's a lot to ask right off the get-go when we don't have a history of doing this already. And part of it is supposed to be that it's being planned by the district in the county with promotion by the state party and then financial support from the state party to do it. What's kind of ending up happening is it's a lot of me having to help. We're dealing with a lot of questions and emails and phone calls, which was not supposed to be the intent. So that's part of the reason why I feel like it's probably necessary to scale it back, at least for now. Let's build up our arsenal of knowledge and tools for organizing and executing these events, and then we'll start expanding on them. I'm not going to go into some of the other stuff that's already on the agenda. So we'll talk about office, we'll talk about the capital campaign, the CRM, the CTA, the LPIN Academy, all of that stuff. We'll focus on them, on their actual agenda items. So I'm going to say that is it for my chair's report, unless anybody has any questions. And that includes from the peanut gallery on Zoom, if you guys have any questions. Madam Secretary, if you could add Dawn Brenton to the list of guests. Dawn is from Washington County. Okay, Secretary's report.
I sent out the minutes a little bit late, but everybody should have them. That's weird.
And these are
Oh,
both.
then, yeah,
caffeinated,
sorry.
Slightly worse things, so just let.
You're right. That's what happens when I'm in a hurry. So disregard it, throw it away, and I'll try again. My computer was a little lagged, so I can see why that
Let's get a
happened.
little- You're good.
Typically, it is
Yeah,
within
yeah.
the standard practice of a board to approve the minutes. It is a normal motion. Hold on, wait a second.
It's like delayed enough. What happened was I wrote I must have, because the two are right next to each other, I must have
We don't have any decaps.
clicked before it. My mouse moved.
No one else can have ET cat.
Okay. Typically, it is the practice of the board to approve the minutes. It's an automatic motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting. Since we don't have those minutes, we'll table that until the next time. And
There, you should have me a copy now. Sorry, my computer's just funky, so.
We'll
And
just
the
wait
two
until-
things are right next to each other.
Until next meeting.
no need, because they weren't presented timely, so they wouldn't. Actually, it just says Secretary's report. Do you have anything else for you?
No, not really.
Okay, Treasurer's report, Michael Schultz, you're gonna have to speak up.
I sent out the reports by email yesterday across all of our accounts. We have $48,136.82. We currently have accounts payable of $2,810. It's actually artificially low since we signed up for a 3-year plan for the call to action. So that should actually be about $10,000 higher. So I'll adjust that for future reports, but that is not due until next year. So for budgeting, we're not expected to spend that, but that is something we owe in the future that's already accounted for. So not including that $10,000, we have available balance of $45,326.82.
1 second, Mr. Nolan. That does not include the 416 monthly for the data, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Mr. Nolan,
Does it include convention payments?
Michael, does that include all of the convention payments? Are we completely paid up with the convention?
Yes, the convention has been paid for.
Yes. Ms. Avery?
Triple memberships, that's been taken out.
Yes, because that check was only the national portion, not the county portions.
We have any of your check portions that are being sold out. I was told April 1st last time.
Okay, June 1st.
Did you just bend over and pull that out?
Yeah, it's just, I need to give Michael the report and ask him to cut the checks and send them out. I can tell you, I'm speaking over Michael's time, but I can tell you from my experience with Michael, he's really good about getting the checks out the next business day. We've already paid the national portion. So all of those are caught up and it's automatic reports once a month that get sent to national now, and then we immediately cut the check. Moving forward from that, every month when that report gets cut and Michael sends a check to national, we'll also cut the check for the county parties. Mr. Nolan.
Are the life memberships getting put in the account?
Sure.
So that's not part of the 45,000 availability.
I don't think we've actually ever been doing that. Mr. Schulteis, can you speak to that?
We haven't separated those out in any accounting manner or physical account manner, but we can account for that when we're doing our spending if so needed.
I'm actually going to, at some point, with Michael's help, propose a rule change to amend that, to get rid of it. Because it's unmanageable. There's larger organizations do it. But that's a conversation for a different time.
Not financially wise.
It's even now, if the majority of those life memberships are people who paid a small portion to catch up, and the way it is written, we would have to pay everything that they have previously paid to calculate that money being put into that account, and that is not acceptable. If Micah Haynes gives us $400 today, and then next month says, hey, I'm only $100 shy of my lifetime membership, here's $100, we have to account for the full 500. And that's not,
We need to figure something out.
Yeah.
The life membership.
um,
We can't steal from our children.
Well, we never spent down to the last dollar. so-
right, it hasn't happened, and I can, in a conversation that I had with Michael, it has actually never been done.
But this should be income
Does
for
national
our
do something
future.
like that?
And
No.
there's
No,
no
I
income
do not.
coming in from our future.
I actually checked with the state chairs at the previous, the first meeting we had, I actually asked, there's only a couple other states that have lifetime membership and none of them do it. National doesn't and none of the other states do. We're the only ones that do it. And which is also funny because we're also the only ones that ever have surplus funding at the end of the year. But it's not because of that, because we've also actually never accounted for it either in our books. So while we've had the rule, we've never actually acknowledged the rule, other than Mr. Nolan talking about it and bringing it up. It's never actually been done. But we've also never,
Bit broke.
Time.
right. Mr. Schulteis, did you have anything else to add? Because I took up a lot of your time.
No, nothing to add.
Any other questions for Mr. Schulteis? Okay, Vice Chair's report. Lucy?
Not much to report on the vice chair position this month. Evan and I did go up and do a demonstration. Northwest Indiana had a lot of people from Southern Indiana.
That was this month.
That was this month. I know it feels like a long time ago. A lot of great contacts up there, and I just have my eye on next year's convention.
I'm going to take up a little bit of Lucy's time.
Of course.
Go right ahead.
That
never happened before.
So that event up in Hammond, Indiana was actually, there was a gentleman who had what some would consider vulgar sign or flag directed at the President Biden flying in his front yard. And the mobster Democrat mayor in Hammond went to him and threatened him with legal action. And then when he was called out on it, said, well, maybe we won't do anything about that, but if he doesn't comply, we're going to fine him for other things until he complies. So there was a rally, it was a Trump rally, but there was a Trump rally organized, but me and Lucy went up there to go and speak on First Amendment stuff. I would say, Mr. Poland can correct me if I'm wrong on here, but our speech to the attendees was the loudest response from the attendees.
Hopefully they weren't booing.
No, the loudest positive response.
Yes.
We people from up there who were very happy that we were there, because I made it very clear, we're not there to support Trump. We're not there to be anti-Biden or pro-Biden or anything like that. It's specifically a First Amendment rights issue. And even if we disagree, we're going to fight for your right to have your political opinion on your private property. And so a lot of people were happy about that and very supportive of us being up there, to the point where the Democrat mayor in his podcast talked about it, and us being there and replayed the video.
All right, well, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, thanks, James.
Okay.
Okay. So that's it about. Anybody have any questions for Lucy?
Yeah, anybody got any questions?
Okay, hearing none. Communications. Oh wait, Jared Hall, LNC report. He's not here.
Do we invite Weston to our meetings?
We do. We not always. I don't think I did this one, but I did give him a list of them. So they have their next meeting in person is in Chicago, the first weekend of June, I believe. I'm not planning on going to it. I think Jared may be planning on attending in person. But I'm not 100% sure. And then we'll talk about it later, but the 50th gala is in August, which also is an LNC meeting. Okay, so we can't answer any questions or anything about the LNC report. So directors, communications, please do continue sending stuff. Danny and Christy have been doing a good job of sending me press releases. I've been sending those out locally. We did do a. Okay. I think it was just. I think I've only sent 2 things for you since being chair. I remember. One was the National Day of Service, and the other one was. No, it was before that because it was your county convention. So just the one. And then I sent out a statewide on the National Day of Service, but I didn't see a single place even copy and paste that press release, which is unusual. Normally we do, but there wasn't a single one for it. Don't know why, but we didn't get any statewide coverage for it. There was definitely local coverage. Jennings County, I think up in the 2nd district, there was some coverage. Danny, you got coverage in your county, didn't you?
They covered every year, though. It wasn't Libertarian Day of Service. It was just, hey, you got one open every thing happened. So, you don't want to overshadow it.
It's free to send out press releases. If you send me your stuff, I will send it out for you. It only takes me a couple minutes to do it. And it's one of those things that I am happy to sit down and work on because that is a free method of branding who we are and what we stand for in the community. It's a great way to reach people who may not hear about us. And especially with the Libertarian Day of Service, that is a great way of demonstrating that we actually care. Because it's not like the Democrats or Republicans organize a statewide campaign to go out and do good in the community. So please do send those. Send me your information. District reps, if you can send me stuff, not just within your district reports, but if you can send me stuff regularly so that I can put some of that stuff out. In our emails and things like that to our members and our contacts would be great. Any questions about communications? I don't think there was. I don't think I did. I think I intended to, but I don't think I actually did do it. Political director, Jared's not here. I'm anticipating him not being here. I put 2022 candidates on the agenda for later. So we'll move past that. Field director, Morgan Ray, 5 minutes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. I've just got 3 items on my field director's report. Super Saturday, I've been continuing to keep tabs on the upcoming events through contact with the district representatives and other relative participants, and I've been forwarding what information I have to the chair. I intend to continue contact for the time being with the representatives for districts 7 and 3. Second item, since becoming field director, there have been 5 people who have signed up either on the LPIN or LP websites as volunteers. As of now, I have been in contact with 4 of them. I did email the 5th remaining volunteer. I have not received a response as of yet. And then the last item is this National Day of Activism. Michelle McCutcheon, the activism coordinator for the party nationally, contacted me on the 13th of this month about this event that the party is planning to do on a quarterly basis. It's going to begin on June the 19th, and their theme is on criminal justice reform and civil rights. And I just want to add that I intend to go into more details about it later on in the meeting. And that's all I have for field director's report.
I would like to mention briefly that Morgan did submit a written director's report. I just did not send it out. I believe he is the only one who sent out a written one, but Chuck wasn't. I told Chuck he didn't have to.
I have a copy of Morgan. Can you send me?
I-
a report?
After the meeting, I'm going to send all the reports because we also received one from Christy, Kent Williams. Mike, I didn't get yours, did I? Okay, don't remember seeing it. And those were the only ones that I believe I received. Is that accurate? Actually, I got a weird update about the HR committee from Chuck Poland, which we'll talk about. I don't know if that was a report or not, but he did write me. So let's work a little harder on getting district and directors' reports in before the meeting.
When it's hard date, when you want them, I think the first meeting you said Thursday, is that good?
Thursday's fine.
So Thursday before.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, any questions from Morgan, not on the day of service stuff? No, okay, thank you, Morgan. Rodney is not here, chair membership. I already kind of talked about where we're at with membership. We're up, which is good. Students, does anybody have any questions about membership? No, okay, good. Students, Rosalind not being here, she did send me a message. We had an early draft of a constitution for a campus affiliate. We were working on it and then it kind of got completely thrown out and was being started over again. That has not yet been updated. She kind of got sidetracked with she's finishing her degree this year and is going to be starting another degree, and she's crazy. And so she kind of got bogged down this last month. And she's also had was sick a little bit, what have you. But I know she's had some positive outreach, positive communications. I do believe that they already have a faculty sponsor lined up for what the hell is this school there? ISU, USI, University of Southern Indiana. Is that what it is? Okay, yeah, USI. I believe they have a faculty advisor like that for that. Jay Solomon is also working with Rosalind on that. Everybody.
I can hear you fine right now.
Okay. Did it crap out for a minute?
Yeah, all of a sudden I see Chuck who's listed as the host and you're nowhere to be seen. So
I think I got disconnected from the internet. And then it reconnected. Okay. So,
Do I need to give you back hosting now?
it says I'm the host again.
Okay.
So she's working on it. It's a little slower than we had anticipated, but she is working on it. I do feel like she's still on track to have our first affiliate up and running, campus affiliate, before the start of the next school year. So that's good. Chuck doesn't get any time on the agenda for IT. Sorry, Chuck. Thanks for being here.
Can I just say one thing?
Yes, sir.
I've taken over our Wikipedia page. Okay. Wikipedia and for LPIN. So if you see anything on there that needs updated or wrong, feel free to let me know.
I would like for the things about Ed Coleman to be removed. because that it lists it as one of our last greatest accomplishments. It's not because we're trying to hide that history, it's because it's the part where it's talking about what we've done recently.
Oh, okay.
That ain't recent.
Okay.
And it also wasn't an accomplishment. We have newer, better accomplishments. That's on the Wikipedia page. I think there were also some issues with some of the district reps might not have been accurate. You did, okay.
Yeah, LPD has got a lot more behind it. Lots of affiliates that have no page that we have to create pages for.
Okay.
I did go through and try to add to all, at least on the main page. I do have all the affiliates listed there.
Okay. Excellent. We're gonna take a brief, I'm gonna keep recording and keep this going, but we're gonna take a brief 5-minute recess while the food is being distributed. Just because it's very noisy and I don't think we're going to be able to continue working while the food's being passed out. Is there any objection to let's say a 10-minute break? Any objection? Hearing no objection, we are in recess for 10 minutes. Actually, I am going to pause the recording. Okay, we are back in session. What'd you say? Okay. But we're gonna have to wait anyway, because Lucy's not here. And she's the chair of the convention committee for 2022. So I'll just do, without objection, I'm gonna jump ahead to the office section. We'll come back to Lucy. Every search that I've done so far, every place that we found, it looked like things were going good. Found several distressed properties that were within our price range. But then when I would go and do a title search on them, it would uncover a nightmare of mortgage on top of mortgage, including one guy who committed about $4 million in fraud. During 1 month in October in 2018, a guy took out multiple loans on his property all within the same week. Wow. And that's, the mortgage companies from other states, they didn't see anything. It doesn't pop up. You think, well, but it's not a credit report on him. It would be a DUNS report, which doesn't do that. When you run a DUNS report on a company, it doesn't necessarily show that a bunch of people have pulled their credit recently. So yeah, the property's tied up in litigation right now over who actually gets the property in default. Because there's all of these mortgage companies from across the country who are all competing for it. So there's been a lot of, maybe not to that scale, but there's been people who have multiple mortgages on a property. They're way upside down. We're still looking. I've tried to be a little bit more creative in spaces and possibly even renting instead of purchasing. There's a crazy feeling right now where a lot of the commercial property holders would rather not lease to anybody at a discounted rate. They'd rather eat the carrying costs for the next 5 years because they think the market's going to rebound. And I think that we might be in line to buy more property in 5 years because they're going to come to terms with it ain't coming back, and those carrying costs are getting kind of expensive. But so we're looking at properties. We're still doing that. We may be pivoting or keeping with the original idea of just trying to get something through the tax sale, unfortunately.
I would be patient because if my husband's company, they're not going back to office. He just cleaned out his office. They're gonna go all virtual.
Yeah.
And have a downtown shared workspace.
And
So
that's,
ample.
I mean, if you look at like the Gold Building downtown, they were already pretty low on vacancy. They barely met the minimum to maintain their insurance on their property. And they were basically begging tenants not to leave. And then COVID hit, and now a lot of those bigger companies that were in there are like, we don't need an office space anymore.
Yep.
And so they're just like, it's not worth it to us at all to renew because we don't need it.
Right.
And so no deal they come up with is going to work. But if you go there right now and ask them what their property is, it's Class A. You know, they're still between $18 and $32 a square foot, which is ridiculously high, especially when your building is, you know, basically empty.
Mhm.
So that's kind of where we're at with that. But you know, I keep plugging away at it. We do want something in Marion County, Danny. And Greg. Well, you just tell me about them. Danny sends me listings from other counties.
I mean, we have the lowest property tax of any other county.
That's a hell of a, that is a hell of an Uber for me to take every day to get to the office. I'm just
I
saying,
assume you live in the office.
I thought you were doing your license. What happened?
it takes 6 months.
Well,
You have to
Well, it's
maintain
not
it.
like we're gonna have a building tomorrow.
I mean,
We
it's
might.
church on 2 acres. I thought you might be-
But so that's where we are with the property. Any questions about the office search? Okay, circling back to Lucy for the convention.
Yes, for convention, I'm simply looking at locations. I did like the Fisher's location. And I have the information that Danny and Lori sent me from that. So I'm looking at that very strongly. I will admit that I'm biased because I lived in Fisher's for so many years and I loved it. I thought that the location did a great job treating us, but I'm open to some other places, especially if it gives a better deal or have, more amenities. So that's where I'm at right now.
Before I talk, does anybody have any questions or comments for Lucy?
I just yield my time to the chair.
Yeah, like, why do you like Fishers?
Sure.
I grew up there and I can't see it.
It's very different.
So here's my thoughts on the 2022 convention. I don't like the Fishers government.
Yeah.
However, the businesses that we worked with, that Danny and Lori worked with this year, bent over backwards to help us out. Mentally, I've been weighing whether or not that was, because originally the plan was Danny and Lori put this together as something that we could go back to year over year. With how Fisher's government treated us and the rest of their citizens, I questioned whether or not it would be worthwhile to go back there. Weighing that with how good the businesses were to us, how accommodating they were. Where I fall is on that spectrum is this. I like the idea of having the convention again in Fishers. It was profitable, even with the added expenses of COVID. It was profitable. It was well attended, even with COVID. There are some things that we do need to work out with them if we do continue to go there, like the load in, load out times, things like that. Make sure our contract with the caterer includes water on the table. And for the record, that was Sam Goldstein's fault, not Danny and Lori's. I also like the idea of us holding an event in Fishers. Their local election is in 23, I believe, for the mayor of Fishers. I like the idea of us holding events there, because I really do want Hamilton County to put a lot of effort into challenging that mayor. If we are present there, that gives us a bigger opportunity to do that. So I would like to direct the convention committee to put together a proposal. It's not a finalization or anything like that, but for them to start the process of rewinding our agreement from this year's convention with the eye towards next year, with the convention being the end of February, beginning of March. To consider, continue to exploring other options for us to consider, but that I'd like to have a proposal within the next 45 days as a redo of the Fishers agreement for Fishers convention that we just had. It doesn't bind us to anything. It's not saying we go to Fishers. I'm just saying, let's have within the next 45 days, what would be a passable proposal from Fishers. Because I would like us to have our convention location and date scheduled before the end of July. Any questions or comments?
If you mentioned February, our bylaws requirement in March, April, May, us to within our bylaws.
Actually, the bylaws say within the first quarter.
If that was changed, let's do it, change that. If it was changed from the first quarter. I remember it was changed to specify March, April, May.
The bylaws that I have, which are the most recent, it says first quarter.
Then it was changed again, I was aware of it.
Okay.
It's
Do you,
been changed for a while, so I think we have
Yeah.
to change our county
yeah,
bylaws too.
yeah. It's been a while. I wasn't here when it was changed. I want to move to extend by, any objection to extending by 3 minutes? Okay, hearing none, time's extended by 3 minutes. Maybe that was something that was done in 2018. Maybe it was changed then. I wasn't here. I was in Phoenix in 2018. But
It was changed because we were running with other people's conventions, we're not able to get convention space.
right,
easily.
right. But it is something that, I know because when we were looking at some of our organizing conventions, helping them with their bylaws, that was one of the things we said was, be prepared. You have to have your information in before the state convention, and then the state convention can be anytime within the first quarter. It could be January 2nd. It wouldn't be, but it could be. There is actually a part of me that would like for us in not right now, but in future years, to actually be doing that, to have our convention within the first couple of weeks of the year. But to do that would require plenty of notice to the counties, because they would likely have to amend their bylaws to allow them to have their annual convention in the last quarter of the year.
That's difficult for with Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Right. So, okay, moving on. Can somebody tell me what's the next thing on the agenda while we're doing this? Veterans. This is my fault. I have not been in good communication with the committee chair. So it's just not been meeting. It's not been populated yet. And that is completely my fault. I failed you, and I shall try to do better. That's all I got for that. What's next on the agenda? Staff. There's zero time on staff. And veterans, capital campaign. I've not heard from Tim on the capital campaign. So I'm not sure what's going or not going with the capital campaign. So that's all I got on that. Let's do district reports. District 1, Chuck Pullen. Mr. Pullen? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Nothing to report.
Cool. Chuck said nothing to report. District 2, Elizabeth Ochoa.
Yeah, not too much to report either. We're working on volunteer events in our county affiliates, and I am going to be working with Caitlin Cloven for working on our outreach in District 2, but that's about it.
District 3, Ms. Avery.
I wouldn't have to read it to you if you'd already received it. Allen and Kosciuszko counties did clean up for the National Libertarian Day of Service, and I believe Elkhart County also participated in that. Kosciuszko County is continuing the search for a Super Saturday event for August. They had a meeting on Tuesday, and I haven't heard if anything came out of that. Allen County will participate in a 4th of July parade on July 3rd in New Haven. We have an elected city councilor, so if anyone wants to come out and march in a parade on July 3rd, come on out. And Whitley County is working on looking for events and volunteer opportunities. Did you ever hear anything from the guy from Double County? Hopefully he's still alive.
He was deployed,
He was deployed, yeah.
and I have not, he was, and he didn't file his paperwork on time because he ended up not being able to do it. It was their organizing convention was literally a week before he was sequestered for 2 weeks before going back to wherever in the Middle East as a combat surgeon. And that was the last we've heard from him.
And I sent a check. Never been back.
Yeah. Huh, it went right back to it. Do you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
It logged right back in and went right back to it. The whole thing booted down. Like power loss. So
By the way, bit of a pro tip for you. Next time you say, "Can you hear me now?" and someone says yes, just say "Good."
what I
Like
say,
like in all those phone commercials. Can you hear me now? Good.
okay. District 5, Mr. Nolan.
No report.
No report from District 5. District 7, Mr. Williams.
Yeah, this is a copy of what I sent you, got a little bit more update. The Marion County Libertarian Party had their last April 27th. Discuss future meetings and it's going forward. The plan is every other first Monday of the month. So every first Monday of the month will be meetings here at the Antelope Club from 7 to 9. Alternating months will be business or outreach focus.
Every month or every other month?
Every month there will be a meeting, every other month will be business. And the other months will be more like fun outreach type of thing. Our current plan for the Super Saturday event in July on the 10th is it's still being finalized. I'm working with the Parks Department. And they're supposed to let me know in June which park, or parks needs the most.
Well, updating to your event, if at all possible, there is a huge event happening that same weekend in Lawrence County.
Oh.
A massive event that it's actually being hosted by the county party. It's a big festival parade thing. Lots and lots of activity going on with it. It's being hosted by the Lawrence County Party. And they were unaware of the Super Saturday events. So I was like, well, it's just Marion County, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I committed us, me and Lucy, and I think Dawn, to going there. That day. It sounds like it's going to be a massive event, and I would encourage a lot of people to go to it if you can, if you have that Saturday available, the 10th of July, to go to Lawrence County, and we'll have more information posted up about it, the exact location and time and things like that. But I think it's going to be a really big, really good event. They've got a lot of interest from people. A lot of vendors. It's basically like they're holding essentially their own street fair. So it's going to be really cool. So we'll work with you on getting a new Super Saturday schedule for you.
So we're
That's
not.
okay. Are you?
It's canceled then?
Are you okay with that?
Yeah,
You're gonna-
I can cancel reservation.
Okay.
But it's okay.
Did you have to pay for anything for it?
It's front about $100, but I can get something like that.
Okay. Your county party's rich. You'll find.
Yeah, they'll cover it. Maybe I can even, I don't know, I'll see.
On that topic, I do have still all of the checks that were cut by Marion County for the affiliates.
Okay.
They have not been sent out yet. So I still have them. They're still good.
Oh, right, yeah. I mean, we have-
Right, I'm just letting you know, we haven't sent them out yet.
Oh, okay.
So don't spend that money.
Right, right. I see what you're saying.
Mr. Nolan, you look like you have something really.
Well, if you want me to take, if you have to go back and take that.
I don't. I thought about bringing them, but I did not. Any other questions or comments for Mr. Williams for District 7? Okay, hearing none. District 8, Mr. Haynes.
District 8, we've had 4 citywide cleanups. The one in Evansville was canceled. We participated in a parade. We had 2 gun shows and 2 outreach events. And on the National Day of Service, Knox County was actually already planning on doing one, and we kind of tried to tie into that. As far as communications, we have a new media director who's going into our website, social media, and be more active on that. And it's Tom Rhodes from Green County, actually has experience apparently in press releases and contact media, so he's helping our counties develop press releases, like he says, just re-advertising. Some of that has kind of had some fruit. Adrian Ludenberg was chair of Dubois County, was interviewed by the Dubois County Herald about his report. So as much as they're responding to the releases we're sending out. As far as political, you're already aware, Mr. Chair, there's a few issues that we're tracking in the district, one being the Evansville EDO that we had a conference call about, and Vandenberg district political director are keeping an eye on that and considering, your advice and your guidance and develop a plan to come. Other than that, other political issues are just the Knox County government incubator that just opened up, and Vigo County treasurer of the education board with raise taxes ridiculously, so we're keeping on that.
We also have an event coming up on the 29th.
Yes, on the 29th, we, as far as future events, the big one coming up on the 29th at 5 minutes per vote, we're going to live stream the rifle raffle. We probably will raise close to $5,500, $5,500 out there after the rifle is paid for. And we're going to draw a winner at one. With Top Guns and Mr. McMahon and others taking you to the and we'll hear some of him. Myself. Following that, we'll have our second district board meeting. And we're expecting a lot of turnout. We're already planning on that.
Any questions for Mr. Haynes? I'm gonna just indulge for a second. The issue with the UDI, that's a process where they take their city or a county takes their zoning ordinances and compresses it into one governing document, which if you're going to have zoning, if that is going to exist and be a function of that government, then it probably should be streamlined and organized in an easily accessible, easy to understand and written way. Not horribly fond of zoning rules and regulations, but we've lost that fight. However, it's important for counties and districts to be involved in those conversations to make sure that when a UDO is passed, it doesn't include political sign language or restrictions on businesses and signs, that it has exemptions for like temporary signs for like now opening or sale or something like that. That there needs to be restrictions on setbacks and easements, that you don't want 100-foot setback because that's 100 foot into your property. And a lot of places will try to pass those kinds of things and they'll bury them in their UDO. So it's important to be monitoring it, to work with the county or the authority on crafting it, be pleasant, be a partner in crafting it. Let them know what the opposition that you have is to certain sections of it and how to make things better. Is probably one of the best ways to prevent a bad UDO from becoming law, that you end up spending the next 2 years in a protracted fight with the town council over. Even though that has actually probably helped grow their county party. But if you have something like that, and as you know, Mr. Haynes pointed out, we had a conference call 2 nights ago, Thursday night. Because today's Saturday. I was going to say it already happened.
I'm used to meetings happening on Saturday. They're the only ones who do Thursdays.
Reached out and said, hey, we've got this going on. Could you give some advice? And I said, yes, let's schedule something for tomorrow night. So if you have something going on like that, please let me know so that I can be helpful and help give advice and guidance. I don't have all the answers, but I can help you find the answers. District 9.
Okay. Libertarian Day of Service, Morris County and Monroe County both and clean up schedule where Morris County counties that help out with the one food pantry. Well, they take it back to the new one pantry right now. We do that for it. It's Clark County, in Washington County, and in Warren County, they're each planning on doing food at their county fair. Washington County Fair is a big deal, the Warren County Fair is a big deal. There was an issue with the Washington County Fair. Apparently, they wanted one of the rules was the food not be banned. Because they wasn't actually correct. They wasn't actually correct. It turns out, well, hell, if you can't ban your food, what's the damn point? Apparently, that was not correct. It's weird. Still, yeah, they already had a presence there. Holly Brown checked on his campaign for county commissioner. Warren County had to meet at last Saturday in Bedford, and a little matter I went to. Great place to meet us. Then, of course, the big event, July 10th, is mentioned earlier. Warren County had the Liberty Mansion and Harp, called the Harp Commons. Live music, food, there'll be beer. Donald Rainwater's going to speak, Ron Wolf's going to speak, and I hope that you all get I'll speak as well. God forbid, yeah, I will. We're going to grow the parties in Morgan County. I asked all my county sheriffs to submit a written report of this, all their counties, like you do that. So far, Danny's been the only one that's actually done it so far. It's quite a report. Yeah. Morgan County political, and Christian Alexander and Danny, YAL training candidates in Ohio. It's Jennifer better than one. The board bill be what is easy on on that. The membership, but they're doing onboarding kids to do better, but I think that's a great idea. But I have this picture of your entire family. Field on May 1st, which is it's nothing the old servers on August 8th and 10th. This is a key festival here. Finance, they raised $3,000 recently, and all the media coverage ever there is one on the board. Also, all of the sign orders. There's a bit that filed a picture that man sign orders before the county. That's the same thing. Only thing over that is Johnson County has an outreach event on June 5th. They're going to have a booth at the first ever Greenwood Pride Block Party. So Greenwood is having a first ever Pride event. Johnson County, I know they've been established party for a long time. They've got a whole lot of new leadership. And so if anybody wants to come help them run that booth, I think they would greatly appreciate it. So you will? Great. Now I know that. That's right. We did start on monthly donation. Chrissy Acres was our first ever monthly donor done one time. Thank you, Chrissy. Well, I should also add that I've been informed that they're going to be regarding districts later on this year. Apparently, not the 9th district is going to lose the county. Possibly Lawrence County may shift to the 8th district. And I've been told it could be either Lawrence or Poplar Johnson County to shift to a different district. You don't know yet. It'll be announced sometime around September.
Okay.
One other thing. There's a website called signup.com. Lori Stillings actually from Hampton County pointed it out to me. I sent it out to a few other people. It's super easy to manage your volunteers. You can schedule shifts for your booth, things like that. You can go to a volunteer list that way. It's called signup.com. Super easy to use, free. I would recommend everybody start using that so we can start coordinating our volunteers a little bit better, both inside our county and the neighboring counties and outskirts counties and that. So look into that. I recommend.
Morgan, did you hear that?
No, I'm afraid not. Could you repeat that quickly? Or just summarize it?
Look up signup.com as a way to sign up volunteers. They can pick their shifts, what they're going to be doing, updates the contact info, but it's a good way of, I used to use a program called Sign Up Genius, which was very similar, but it was paid. So, but signup.com, check that out, Morgan, see if we can use that to manage volunteers being scheduled to do things.
You got it.
I would like to point out that Danny's report to his district rep as the county chair follows along with our guide for the agenda, which is kind of how we wanted things to be presented. So thank you, Danny, for doing that. Definitely. It's definitely a good idea to ask your counties to send those to you as the district rep. It'll make it easier for you to be able to then give a district report. And so keeps everything on top of everything. So we don't miss something like a July 10th event that's being organized. Okay, District 9. That was District 9. Yeah. Do it again, please. We do have a scheduled 10-minute break. Do you guys want to take the break or do you want to move forward? Let's go ahead and take the 10. The break is on the schedule, so we don't need a motion for that because it was approved. So we are in recess for 10 minutes. We will return at 12:24. Okay, we are back from our break. Okay, Mr. Nolan's in the room. Did Kent leave the room? So we waited until like the last 30 seconds of the break and then left. Okay. Next item on the agenda is the CTA, the call to action program. We've now officially used it for 2 different calls to action. We did it for Hammond, Indiana, to have people send an email to the city council, the county council, and the county commissioners demanding that the mayor stop being a jerk and violating people's First Amendment rights to political speech. From that alone, there were over 200 participants. Each participant, that one ended up being, if you lived in Hammond, it was 23 emails that you ended up sending because it's all of the city council and then the county council and then the county commissioners. If you just lived in Lake County but not within Hammond, it was 13, 11, somewhere between 11 or 13 emails were sent. So it was a staggering number of emails. That one specifically you could not participate in if you didn't live in the county or the city. You had to live at least within Lake County. The second one that we did, which was great, and they complained about getting those emails. They don't like it. And my response to that is either stop screwing up or resign and let us take over. Exactly. You don't like getting these emails from the public? That's part of the job. Sorry, buddy. The second one we did was actually delayed because of Hammond. We were launching the Hammond one, and I didn't want to do 2 on the same day, so there was a couple of days in between. But the next one was Morgan County, which was specifically for their sign ordinance, pushing people to contact the town council to adopt an amendment to their UDO, changing their signage prohibitions. And it was timely, but not as timely as the Hammond one. The Hammond one needed direct action within 48 hours. Morgan, yeah. But from that, Danny was directly contacted by at least one board member who complained.
Our planning commission, did you take my name off your Libertarian site? Like, I'm getting a lot of emails. People look good. People are expressing their opinion. So what's my personal email? So do you have a county email? I could probably change it. Don't have requested one now. Literally nobody on our planning commission or board of zoning appeals had a county. Nobody. Two of them didn't have contact information at all.
Yeah.
I bet they changed that.
Well, the two that didn't have any contact information at all are probably feeling happy about that decision.
Yes, that's,
But that one was a little bit different. The system would not let us, the town commission, town council was not in the system. So I had to literally go to their website, take their information, put it into the system. And then everybody, including Christy Avery and Chuck and Russell Burbank, were able to participate. Which they did note. They did say that it was coming from people from outside the town and just, you know, random libertarians. And it's like, well, we care. You know, you may not care about the people in your community, but we care about the people in your community. But that one, Danny, I checked this morning and it's 111 now. I think it was 97 when we talked the other day. It's 111 now. And so that was it 12 emails per person, I think?
We're continuing to do a paid ad for that as well. And that link people to that in our area.
And I'm seeing, you know, a couple every day, 1 to 2 every day. I don't know why you're only getting some of the announcements of it. Because I get every single one of them, which is so much fun.
Do you actually read them, or do you just get the registered, like, hey, this person sent an email?
Basically, I get the thank you email that they got.
Okay.
There's another admin notification that I get. That one actually does happen very randomly. I don't get it for every person that submits. It does happen very randomly.
It's still, though, it's proved to be a very useful tool. I think we've generated a lot of support to get this amendment passed. Like I said, we have a hearing at the planning commission on June 10th, where they will do either favorable or unfavorable. Then it'll go to the town council after that. So, you know, it's been an extremely useful tool in mobilizing people on why this is, you know, it's our job to educate the public on why it's an issue, but it makes it super easy for them to say, like, yeah, no, that's totally cool. They can go, they can send an email, they can know, so that we can put the pressure on the local government to do the right thing. So, I think it's a very useful tool. I think going forward, we can use this a lot.
The important thing to note about this is that we've already been successful with the 2 campaigns that we've done. We've had a massive amount of emails that have been sent to the point where we're borderline irritating the local government, which is fine. Stop screwing up and we won't be irritating you. This is going to be a great tool come the legislative session. It's going to be a great tool for pushing legislation prior to the session. But more importantly, reach out to your county chairs and let them know that we have this tool available. It costs them nothing. This is a state party tool that we got for them. We can do these things for them, and it does work. I mean, they did not have this hearing scheduled. They did not have this amendment up and running prior to this. They've been hitting at it, they've been working on it, but I think this was the
There
final
some other
straw.
factors. This is driving the nail home.
Yeah.
Like something else had set it up and ready to hammer, and the CTA is just
Yeah.
smacking
I
it.
think one of those
Hold
issues
on, Mr. Nolan.
So you were the focal point, like county chair, you have to go through you in order to do anything?
I would prefer that you be part of that process to let me know. But you don't have to be the go-between. You don't have to be like, hey, Evan, here's all the information. Because I'm gonna be asking them for like photos and stuff like that. But if you're just, you know, CCing on an email saying, hey, Evan, you know, this county, Blackford County wants to do a CTM.
One thing to write up in notes about meetings.
Yeah.
And one of the things I want to say, and I last 2 notes I mentioned.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I'm telling you the right place
Yeah.
to go to implement this.
Have them go to you first, and then just help facilitate that conversation. That way you're in the loop on it. You know what I mean? Mr. Hayes.
Yeah, just one of those, definitely maybe the Evansville EDO, but one of those three big issues I mentioned to the community. I'll talk with those chairs.
Absolutely. Okay, next item, the LPIN Academy, which actually ties into the other item, which is the Civic CRM. The LPIN Academy, we haven't launched it yet because the first launch was supposed to be for the Civic CRM training. We had some issues with that. Yeah, I'm actually going to combine these two together. The framework for the LPIN Academy is there, but we've had, one of the issues was they changed the NDA policy and how it is done now. It is a digital file as opposed to a signed file. So that was one issue. Everyone who has access to the CRM has to do the new NDA. So that required redoing the entire beginning process of the training because the beginning was how do you actually become a user. So that all had to be redone, which is now digital, which is great and easy. But then they added a whole bunch of new data. They had all of the Joe Jorgensen campaign data. And so we were redoing the training based off of these new data assets. In Indiana, we had about 8,000 contacts in our database. Now we have about 13,000 with the Joe Jorgensen data added in. However, most of that Joe Jorgensen data, in my opinion, having looked at it now, is garbage. The people who were donors and were active were already in our system. The rest of it were kind of blind leads that they had in their database that weren't engaging, but it was people that they had targeted in Indiana. So they had heard something from the campaign, but maybe didn't respond to the campaign in any way, shape, or form. To me, they're people that the state party will continue to email and contact with, but it's not necessarily something that the county or the districts should be spending a lot of resources on trying to get them to participate. With that, we've been working on redoing the training program because they also changed. Now we can see national membership. However, when they rolled it out just for Indiana. Then they rolled it out nationally and it broke. So they took it away from everybody. Then they rolled it out again nationally. And when they did it nationally, there was no way to differentiate between state or national. So if you searched for membership, if I wanted to see who our active members were in Indiana, it would automatically show that you were a member, even though you were only national. There was no way to differentiate it, which even if the bylaws amendment hadn't happened, you would still want to do that because we need to be able to contact people to say, hey, you should be a state party member. Or if you're just a state party member, hey, you should be a national party member too. But we weren't going to be able to differentiate between them. You would have to go into each person's individual profile to look and see what kind of membership type they have. So it was kind of dumb. So then they took it away again. Well, now they brought it back, but it is not an intuitive way to search. You have to know that there's a specific string of code that you have to add into the search feature to get national membership. So, you know, I don't want to roll this out and then say, hey, here's how you search, but by the way, it's not right. Part of that has been the ongoing conversation with the national development team. What's been holding us back right now is they are going to change the search again. They are in the process of changing the search again. They're supposed to be creating automatic, and I've given them some of the metrics that we would like to see so that all you have to do is click one button and select membership. You know, I'm looking for membership, I'm looking for contacts, I'm looking for this. You click it one time and it will tell you everybody in your district or everybody in your county. As opposed to right now, I have to drop down menu, select the type, select the location, select the county, select the membership types. cancel out this membership type and active versus new versus pending versus now that's what they're gonna do. So I'm kind of waiting on that before we roll it out to everybody else. That being said, I do want us to move forward with training you guys and the directors. At least being able to navigate the system and getting comfortable with the search. We're combining the two. So we got another 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So then you at least feel comfortable doing these searches. That way, when the new search features happen, we can just quickly say, okay, this is how you update. So I'd like to talk about scheduling that training for us as a group, just districts and then just directors. Because there's a little bit of difference. Directors can see everybody in the state, districts can only see the people in the district. So if everybody will pull out your calendars. And again, we're just thinking about district reps right now. And she is not. Oh, she's waiting too. Sorry. Tell her I don't want her here. I actually want to do this before that. And I do want to do it remotely because I want to be able to share the screen and I want to be able to have you guys log in and share your screen so that I can point and help you do that. Sorry. We could do it on a weeknight. I was trying to get this for this coming week. I want to get you guys in, get you trained, and then get the directors, and then I would like to have everything rolled out. And National tells me that I should be able to do this. At least holding these types of trainings with a couple of key counties. So once we get the districts, then we get the directors, then a couple of key counties that are irritating me about it. Then we'll go back to the academy plan in the future.
I thought you put the annoying people in the.
I am. Well, I'm still going to punish them. I'm still going to punish them. I am looking at basically, you guys tell me what day next week, not Saturday or Sunday. Okay. I will give you this. Hold on. I don't know if it's on. So Elizabeth, do you have any, oh, you're still connecting via audio. If you can hear me, Elizabeth, tell Christy what day you would like. Did you message her? I heard she's still connecting to audio, so she probably can't even hear me. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
What time was it? Because that,
In the evening. Okay, Monday. Mr. Nolan, Monday work for you? Monday work for you? Can you ask Elizabeth if Monday works for her? And I'm just gonna make Chuck do it on Monday, if that's what you think.
is that the 20?
4th. And then do you guys want to do like 6:30 Eastern? I don't know what that, it's going to be like 5:30 Central. Are you central or eastern? You're eastern, right?
There is a
But it only matters what you want.
situation.
That's what I'm thinking. Yes. He'll figure out, he's gonna figure out a way to attend.
I sent you a feature request an email. on that.
Did you? Okay. Yep, I see it. I don't see what it is, but I see the email. Everyone will, and I will put out an email tomorrow about registering. Some of you did, not everybody has.
It wouldn't let me in.
Okay, and by the way, I did look and your email is your email. I don't even have the district listed in your profile. Your district email, which I thought was weird, because I was pretty sure I'd done that. Okay, I think the only people district-wise who are registered within the system is Micah and Christie. Actually, I think, Mr. Hirsch, I think you are too. Didn't you register for the user system?
Yes.
Okay, did you,
I heard it back, but
did you update your NDA recently within the last month?
I did.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, the reason why I'm waiting until tomorrow is because we had talked about only using district email addresses. Oh, hey, Liz. No, hey, we're waiting for you to comment on something.
Oh, oh, really? Oh, perfect timing. Sorry, I got kicked out of Zoom and I was doing the garage sale thing. Okay, what did you need me for?
Monday at, what did I say, 6:30?
Yeah.
We're having a meeting via Zoom training, so you'll need to be in front of your computer.
Monday at 6:30,
Eastern.
Zoom. For training.
Does that work for you?
Let me check my calendar real quick.
It doesn't matter. It works for everybody else.
Well, then why even ask me?
I was just being polite. I really don't care.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I don't care either. I'll figure it out.
So Monday at 6:30. So one of the issues was if you log in if you create a profile with your personal email address, it will send system notifications and updates, including potentially new member notifications to that personal email address. We don't want that. That's bad operational security. We want it to stay within our domain name. However, if I use District 8 at lpin.org, we can't assign that to anybody else. It's assigned to you in your personal profile as Micah within the CRM. We just had that problem with the chair email address. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why can't I change my email address to chair? They're like, oh, because it was already used. And I was like, well, actually, Tim never used the system. And I'm looking at his profile. He never had it set up. That was because when they added him in under chair and then changed it to personal because he never checks his chair address. So you also get things like me and Chuck, we get emails from National from the IT team because we're listed as part of the IT directors. Alyssa should be getting emails from the secretary that goes out to all of the state secretaries. Same with vice chair. I get the chairs list, which is automatic because I'm in the CRM as the chair. Districts should be getting district emails from across the country. I don't think they're going to do that, but they might. County chairs do get emails from the national party if they're listed. But so we're trying to work this out, which is why we got the lpin.team and lpin.vote email addresses. I got them. and then gave the domain names to the state party, and Michael is hosting the email server for it. However, even that got screwed up with national. So we tried to do it with Chuck Hagerman. We set him one of those accounts up, and then we logged him in as a user with that. But then when we added his tech and LPIN email address into his profile, so that that's where his tech emails would go, it changed his login to being the tech email address. So I've got a request into the national team to work that out. What my suggestion is for right now is just, if you haven't registered already, when you register, just use your personal email address, and then we will fix it. Once national and me can work this out about how this naming convention is supposed to work.
Well, last time I tried to register, it's been something screwy. I don't remember. It's been a while. So.
What we might do is we might just make that part of the training, because that's actually part of the training that we're going to be providing people when they register. But for the academy, is the beginning of it is, how do you register as for a user account? So why don't we just do that? If you haven't registered, don't. We'll just do it together, and I'll walk you through it, because it has changed. Before, it didn't work. You would put in all of your information, and you would select Indiana, and then you would be like, oh, I'm a district rep. So you would select region, and then it would be like, nope, there is no region in Indiana. Or there are no county chairs available in Indiana. It actually does work now. But we'll do it together. Okay, so 6:30 Monday. Okay. Any questions about any of that? CRM, what the plan is moving forward? Everybody feel good? Okay. Chuck Pullen is not here, so I will just give you a brief update about the HR policy as I understand it from his email to me. His email to me is that we have a policy, but it has not been adopted by the board yet. Therefore, he is not ready to present it. Yeah, that's all I know. That was it. He's apparently got a policy that was drafted and created by somebody that he did say he wants to schedule a meeting within the next couple of weeks for the HR committee to approve the policy. And that way it will be presented to us by the next SCC meeting for final approval. I was recording. Okay, I thought I wasn't recording. 2022 candidates. The big focus is make sure you're talking to your counties on their local candidates. Make sure that any local elections that are happening in 2022 that they're aware of them. It's we're going to have a top filled ballot from the convention nominees, but it won't look great if your affiliate, if an affiliated county party doesn't have candidates on the ballot. If there are, because not every county will have county elections this year, or local elections in 2022, but those that do, try to fill as many of them as possible. We're not asking for, I'd love to have 100%, but I'm not going to eat anybody's breakfast for not having 100%. However, if there are 15 spots on their ballot and they have 0 fill, I'm going to be a little hostile about that. Because it's like, as far as the person walking into that voting booth is concerned, that was an empty Libertarian ballot, because they're only going to have 3 statewides, the U.S. Senate, a congressional town district, and maybe a U.S. Senate, or state, not U.S. Senate, state Senate. So 7. They'll have 7 candidates out of a potential, let's say 25. That ain't great.
Is there any one best place to find what would?
So I've asked our political director to put that list together for each county. And part of that was emailing the county clerk's office and saying, hey, what are your elected offices and when are they up for election? I don't know if that has happened. I don't believe it has. And I do know that, I can't remember who it was, but at least one county reached out and said that they actually emailed their county clerk about that, and the county clerk said, we don't know.
Morgan County, I put it together like 3 years ago. The best way to do it is go look at tax law. Yep. And you see whatever you're recommending for the last, you only really have the next about, 4 years or so. Look at them all. So that's the best way to do it.
Some of them are announced, they're not, totally doing that.
Right.
We can tell Jared Morgan County are done, just gonna ask for us.
So our, we went around that method, just calling on courthouse.
Library compiled that. That's a county.
Oh.
Library, where they're. It'll tell you what office it is, what year they were elected. When they're re-elected. So-
Well, I mean, they have a lot of time on their hands in Madison County
They have-
at the library there.
It's nice.
Madison. The only books they have at the library in Madison County are card play, gambling, huh? What? Yeah, about bridges. Yeah, bridges and gambling. That's it. That's all I got there. Okay, any questions about 2022 candidates, Mr. Hagerman?
Yeah, I was talking to somebody from Johnson County. Very much. Is that something you get to talk with this guy? I send you towards the county chair.
So the process should be loop them in with the political director, the district rep, and the county chair.
Okay.
And then if the political director and the district rep think that it would be beneficial to have me have a conversation with them, then I will.
I'll send it to Jared as well. But yeah, my first instinct is I send it to the county.
I would make sure to be talking to the district rep.
I'll just send it out.
Which there isn't one.
I'll send it.
Yeah.
All three.
What's the status of our two?
Haven't heard anything back yet on the 4th district. I asked the county chairs, because there were 2 names that were submitted for possible appointment. And I sent them both, I sent all of the county chairs messages specifically asking which one. Then I contacted both the people whose names had been put forward and have not heard back from either of them. Which was kind of, yeah. And I, because I'm not a millennial, I didn't just send an email, I also called.
Like a phone call?
Yeah, like a real phone. Yeah, yeah. I talked to him. Yeah, yeah. It wasn't a landline, but Tim McGuire's in the waiting room. Should I let him in?
Yeah.
Zoom call. Yeah, I mean, he is a member, but that doesn't mean we have to recognize him. It's too late. We already had that. They already gave it. So, but with the indulgence, does the body mind if we take 5 minutes to grill Mr. McGuire? Okay, with no objection. Mr. McGuire, since you're in the room, sir, can you give us a capital campaign update? He left. I'm not kidding. Did you see it? I said that and he disconnected.
Yeah. He's gonna try and play it off like his audio didn't work.
That was awesome. I mean, it just completely dropped off. Wow. Okay. It's like, oh, I got called out as soon as I logged in. Okay, any other questions about the 2022 candidates? We're gonna have to ask to put you on the agenda for new business in a minute. So just shut up.
The state and candidates, are you guys doing those or are those things that the district should be doing for? Or
Jared is supposed to be communicating with people, reaching out to people. It would be great if the districts help with that, help find people.
need to know where you.
Yeah. Me too. Me too.
I don't want to recruit somebody who's got somebody.
Yeah.
In one of the districts already.
That we have a Google Doc that has all the
Yes.
people.
I thought competition was good.
that we have
Yeah.
access
Recruit them anyway.
Yeah, recruit them anyway.
There should be a Google
And-
document
and-
that we have access- there should be a Google document that you have access to that lists all the candidates.
Yes.
that have expressed interest or-
Yes. We will do that as part of the training on Monday.
Okay.
I don't know how to get there.
Don't ask me, I have no earthly idea. I just know you can.
I know it exists.
It does, it does. It's okay. To be honest, a couple of times I've actually had to ask Jared to resend me the link to it because I couldn't access it. And really it was, I just couldn't be bothered to go and access it the right way.
Yeah. It's faster just to ask it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We'll make sure to have that included there. But yeah, definitely help. And if there is somebody already there, recruit them anyway. Maybe that person will be better.
So for recruiting, we're getting into the discussion on my county chair about that was interested in the county office. And I had talked to them about, if they wanted to start raising money, that they would have to go and do a
Candidate committee.
exploratory exploratory committee as opposed to a regular committee. Would that be correct?
So the purpose of an exploratory committee is to raise money for a potential campaign when you're not sure what you're going to run for or that you're going to run.
So that you would be elected to run.
Not
So if
necessarily.
we've got 5 people that want to run for US Senate. I mean, are they all on regular?
They can be. They absolutely can be. So I find very little viable reason for an exploratory committee with a couple of exceptions. One exception being one candidate that we have right now on a very local level, local level, who is was putting together an exploratory committee because this candidate wasn't sure if they were going to run for a township-wide office or a district or possibly a county commission seat in their district, but they knew they were going to run and they were going to run for their district area, but they weren't sure exactly what level they wanted to do, and they wanted to keep it quiet because if they announced it or their intention of doing it, they were going to get attacked by the local controlling party. So they wanted to wait until later to actually form the committee, but they wanted to be able to fundraise. So they set up an exploratory committee. That's a valid reason to me. Just other than that, there's really no reason. If you are seeking the nomination, there's no reason to do an exploratory committee because you are stating you're seeking that nomination, you're seeking that office, seek the office. Exploratory means you're not sure if you're running or not. So I would 98% of the time caution against somebody using an exploratory committee structure for that. Mr. Schulteis.
What is the proper forum for expressing concern about a potential candidate? Should that go to Jared or SCC as a whole?
I believe that it is within order if, hold on, let me restate this. Let me, yeah. In my head, let me restate this. Let me work on this for a second. As a board, it is not appropriate for us, and specifically an officer of the party, to make statements or to take sides in a contest for the nomination. So any declared candidate within our party, it would be inappropriate for us to make such statements or statements of concern about a candidate. I believe that the district reps, who are the representatives of their counties, can make those communications internally. I still believe that it's inappropriate as an elected body to make those comments publicly.
This wasn't any public comment. It's just what's the proper forum for potentially vetting a potential candidate.
Oh, if you're
Compare that a future convention.
if you're concerned about vetting, then that is a conversation that you would have with the chair and the political director.
Okay.
Because the chair can rule a nomination candidacy out of order if if it's in violation of the law.
Okay.
And this is, so with the indulgence, this is a conversation that I've had with several county chairs and a couple of district reps about potential candidates for any particular office that may be coming up in the future. When somebody says or does something that we disagree with, it is the proper policy or proper method for the chair to not comment, unless somebody from the media comes and says, this declared candidate has done or said X, Y, Z. Does that represent the party? In which case my response would be, anyone can declare themselves a candidate for our nomination. Our candidates are selected by our members at a privately held convention. Unlike the taxpayer-funded primaries for the Republicans and Democrats. However, I would encourage anybody who seeks the nomination to be familiar with and to accept our platform, that these statements do not necessarily line up with our stated platform and positions. That's it. That would be my response under any potential statement or actions a person may or may not make as a declared candidate. However, when you get our nomination, if you say something or do something that is outside of the bounds of our platform, it is our duty and responsibility to comment on it and to tell you, hey, you're not representing the party. Please be better. I will do my absolute best as chair to not put my thumb on the scale for any person seeking the nomination. I provide every single person who declares as a candidate my time, and I will do whatever I can to help them be a better candidate and a better messenger for our party. I do have my limits of how much I would be willing to give if you're not willing to listen. But I make myself available, and I will not publicly support one candidate over another candidate who's seeking our nomination. Internal office is different. So, you know, when I get sick of Lucy, I will definitely be seeking a different vice chair. That's different. That's internal.
That would be next.
But external is different. Because it's not appropriate for the chair to do that. It should be a nomination by our members without any undue influence from the officers. Does everybody agree with that? Does anybody disagree with that? Mr. Nolan?
In the old parties, there are candidates that do not fall within the platform. All platforms that they're within the party. There are Republicans that are pro choice, and there are Democrats who are pro-life type things, and they don't fall within there. The party does not ever say that they are not representing the party well in that, and I would hope that that would be our stance on. The candidate has to do what they have to do in their district in order to get elected.
I strongly disagree. We're not Democrats and Republicans. There's a reason why. They don't hold their candidate. They don't. We are the party of principle. It's right there on everything we print. And we're either the party of principle or we're just failed Democrats and Republicans.
So you think every libertarian should be on everything?
No, no. But if
Well,
you
that's
could,
what I'm saying.
if you come out and you say things like we should ban all guns, we're gonna say that that's not a position. I'm not gonna necessarily kick the teeth in for the candidate, but I'm gonna put a statement out that said the party position, the libertarians believe in your right to choose how you defend yourself. You have the right to decide not to have a gun, but you should also have the right to decide to have a gun. I believe that our platform is very open on the abortion issue.
That is a plan.
Yeah, that's the one that I think is.
That's very.
That's the one that I'll never criticize a libertarian on because our platform is very open.
Within the old parties themselves, or a Republican to be pro-choice would be very much against standard right now. But yet they don't throw the Republicans under the bus. I don't think that we should be throwing our libertarians under the bus because they don't comply with 100% of libertarian plans.
There is a standard. There is a level of. I mean, when I was Rupert's campaign manager, we championed public transportation. I was against it, but that was what the candidate wanted. And so as his campaign manager, we went out and sold it. I can't tell you how much hate mail I got. And there's still people to this day who blame me for it. I believe that candidates need to be able to make the choice for what's right for them. But it's also incumbent on the party to say that that may not necessarily be where the party stands on it.
I don't think it's incumbent on us to go out and do it. If it's asked, then maybe. I don't think we should, because you're effectively campaigning against our candidate.
If a candidate puts out a statement that is absolutely reprehensible to the party,
Okay.
then we will put out a statement.
If somebody said there are harms.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, that would be fine, but, you know.
If you're advocating for a county option income tax, I'm not gonna, it's a local thing. However, if you're talking about military conscription, well, then I believe that it's within the party's best interest to distance ourselves from that position, even if they are our candidate.
And I'm fine with distancing ourselves from it. That's another thing to say.
We don't agree with it.
Attack our candidate.
I'm not gonna attack the candidate, I'm attacking the policy. And we either believe in what we believe in or we don't. I'm not a purist. I think that there are plenty of people in this room who can say that I've worked with Prags and Mises and radicals and everybody in between. And I don't agree with everybody's policies. I don't agree with a lot of candidate positions. However, there has to be a line in the sand at some point where you say, this person, this policy, these actions go against what our party stands for. And we don't want people misrepresenting what it means to be a libertarian. There was a libertarian candidate, I won't say who it was or where it was, but was actively advocating for people in the LGBT community to be forcibly locked up in mental institutions. And the party in that area declined to chastise him for it. That to me is inappropriate. You know, and I don't care if somebody comes out and says, you know, I'm not pro LGBTQ 25Z exclamation point. Yeah, you know, it's a different thing to not be supportive or not to want to be associated versus advocating for government restriction. And I think that's the difference. But I would also say that as chair, I'm not going to put out a statement about something like that until we've at least had a conversation as a board. Yes, yes. But it is something that we do need to understand that we should do when and if we have a nominated candidate who oversteps. And specifically a nominated candidate because that candidate is speaking for the party. And that is different. As a declared candidate, they are speaking for themselves and I don't care what they say. Because I can easily just say, anybody can seek the nomination, doesn't mean they're gonna get it. Any other things on that? So stop asking me to publicly admonish somebody who may or may not have said something. 50th gala. Hey, Christy, isn't that your birthday weekend?
Yes, it is.
How old will you be?
54, so I'm slightly over the part.
I didn't realize that. I was hoping it was going to be your 50th.
It's my 50th, but not that. My 50th this year. It was my birth that inspired the Libertarian Party.
There you go. So it's coming up. It'll be in August. In what weekend is that? I mean, it's your birthday, so you should know.
27th and 28th. And we also have a meeting.
Yeah. With that, it is remote though, isn't it? It was an in-person, it might be an in-person one. Yeah, because we're doing remote the next month in September. It is the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the Libertarian Party National. It's being done in Colorado, which is Colorado's where the National Party was founded by people. I can't remember any of their names. Listen, I don't want to go into the genealogy of the party right now. It'll just take too long.
It was like Bretton Woods and then Libertarian Party and then my birth. I mean, like all within 30 minutes. It was.
So is there a date for this? Is it
The 27th and 28th.
28th of August?
Yes, it is being held. It's a big event. They're doing a big gala. The average in Colorado. The tickets for it are like $250 a pop. They have a VIP package that's like $1,500 or something like that. However, the tickets for this, Christy, I'm sure you've seen the email, so you may know. The tickets for this count towards both.
No, I don't. I asked, and I was told to no.
See, I asked at their last LNC meeting, and they said it would.
That's why I need to email Robert Kraus.
Okay, I am under the impression, and I thought I saw it in the most recent email, that these ticket purchases do count towards your lifetime and your Torch Club. But I'll check into that just 1 second. I would like for us to consider developing some sort of contest or reward to somebody that we know has the means to go, that we get them a ticket. As a reward for being a great candidate, or being a great county affiliate, or an amazing chair, or whatever it may be. That we send somebody there, but they'd have to pay for their own transportation and hotel accommodations. But I think it would be, I think there are probably several of us who are going to go. Mr. Nolan, you'll probably go, right? Christie's probably going to go. Mr. Hirsch, are you gonna go? You're probably gonna go.
I don't know where, but yes.
I was on.
I am now. I'll probably go. I think Mark Rutherford will probably go. Dawn may go. Jay and Micah have a little bro thing going on right now.
Is there a thought of having, celebration of the 50th scale? As opposed to
Yes.
everybody
Yes, there
going out
is.
to Colorado?
No, not instead of Indiana's will be, oh, you mean for the national party?
Yeah, we'll have the gala here and celebrate.
No, that seems kind of like
That'll be celebrated all.
douchey.
Celebrated all-
It should be, but like they're specifically trying to hold a big fundraiser, and they've got a lot of like historical documents. They've got, you know, the surviving members are going to be there. We are going to do a 50th anniversary for the LPIN,
What is that?
July 14th of 2024.
July 14th.
I think it's July 14th. That's the number.
It's quite important to mention, you know, Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I want to do a special celebration that year. I apparently can't read a calendar and thought that I would put that forward and push for it and then be gone as chair by the time that came around. And then I looked at the calendar and was like, yeah, I'm going to be chair. But so I'd like for us to do that, and I'll be damned if National is going to campaign off of it and take that. So at the same time, like,
All right.
I think that it would be a good idea for us to promote it and try to get as many people to go as possible from Indiana. I would like to see us create some sort of a prize, a recognition, something, either being a contest, which we don't have much time if it's a contest, or the part, like us as a board, just picking somebody or a couple people and paying for their ticket if they're going as a thank you for your years of service, or for being a candidate or a great affiliate or whatever. I'd like for us to do that, especially if they can get their own transportation. I mean, if Elizabeth goes from the 2nd district, she can carpool with a bunch of people, because I know she does that, because I see her Facebook feed.
If enough people put it in your door this day, they might.
I think we need to move the meeting regardless, the August meeting. I just don't know when to that. Let's talk about that over email and maybe make it an email ballot. Mr. Rigg.
Thank you very much. I was going to suggest, before you mentioned the email, what about just holding the meeting a week prior to the previously scheduled date?
I think there's a lot of things going on in August that I don't necessarily have on my, well, the week prior would be the 21st of August. I feel like there was a reason why we didn't do the 21st. I would entertain a motion to amend our SCC schedule to change August 21st, or August 28th to August 21st. Okay, moved by Greg Hirsch, seconded by Lucy. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those
Aye.
nay.
Is
Okay.
that in person or?
It's an in-person.
So, we'll take care of it, you know, public.
Yeah, updated. Yeah. Apparently it doesn't matter.
They're just, apparently you need to go tell the.
That's who I told. Oh, the bartender?
The
Yeah,
bartender,
I'll just get her.
Go
to
tell
schedule.
her instead.
I can do it first. Okay. Does anybody have any thoughts or anything about a potential contest or recognition? Any guidelines or anything that you'd like to I'll recognize you in a minute? For like a contest? Yeah, I don't know if we'd have time to do a contest. I think this would just be us sponsoring somebody as a recognition to go out there. We have a lot of dedicated people in Indiana who could get out there, but maybe can't afford a $250 event ticket. I'm not saying we get a VIP unless it's for me.
Getting there and staying there can be.
No, Elizabeth will drive a bunch of people.
I mean, getting the ticket is gonna be cheap compared to staying and getting there and getting back.
I mean, you know, I do know that we have quite a few people who have traveled across the country to go to state conventions and to events, and they do it in a car with a bunch of other people, and they share hotel rooms. You know, Erin, I'll give it a lot, and her cost for traveling to events was very, very little. It didn't actually cost her much. And she went to the East Coast and the West Coast. When you're carpooling and traveling together as a group and then sharing. When I go to conventions, whether it be libertarian or film related, I have my own suite that I share with no one. And I fly business class, not first class, but business class, extended legroom. You know, so yes, it would be expensive for me to go.
My convention experience is very.
But a lot of the people that I know that go to them, they cram 8 people into a single hotel room and, you know, a little Mini Cooper. So, I don't care. Any other thoughts or comments? Mr. Solomon.
I just want clarification here. For the 50th gala, there is a early bird special, 31st.
$200.
Wise, if it is going to be some sort of contest that was reserved before that price, they will say.
Mr. Schulteis, are you available?
Yes, I'm available. What was the question?
I asked if you were available.
In regards to what?
I hadn't asked the question yet. I wanted to make sure you were available before I asked.
Okay.
I mean, I know the answer. I just want you to answer it. I would like to have an authorization for up to $1,000 to purchase tickets to sponsor potential attendees to the 50th gala. Would we be okay doing that financially?
Yes, given our previous treasurer's report, we do have several orders of magnitude over that $1,000 expense. So I have no issue with spending $1,000 in that manner.
What time is it? Move to extend time by 10 minutes. Any objection? Okay, for this item, the 50th of gala. With no objection, time's extended by 10 minutes. I think we should authorize $1,000, but we should set parameters now for selecting who receives the ticket if we do this. One, I would say it can't be any current office or board, it can't be any current SEC member receiving it. That would give us 5 tickets. One, they have to be a party member. 2, what are some things that you guys would like to see as criteria or our method for picking? If we do this, I want to flesh this out as an idea. If we were to do this, how should we pick them? What should our process be and what should our criteria be? But simply asking them if,
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
make sure they've got Elizabeth's contact info so we can carpool with her. Should this be decided on by the board? In which case, I think we could probably, if we authorize this now, we could get the payment to National, secure those 5 seats, and then pick who gets them later.
Volunteer, active, the most active people.
Okay. Mr. Schulteis?
Is this solely on merit or is it based on potential financial need? Because we have some long-term activists who are higher net worth individuals that may not need the party to cover their ticket.
Mark Rutherford can buy his own damn ticket. I think it needs to be a combination of the two. It needs to be somebody who has demonstrated significant support and volunteer time or candidate support or things like that to the party, but also could not go to this if they weren't sponsored. That a ticket price like this would, that could go, but it would be a hardship to try to attend. This should be a reward for going. I think the people who can definitely afford it would be going regardless, if that makes sense. For example, I don't think, I'm going to maybe speak out of turn, but I don't think Mr. Nolan necessarily wants the state party buying his ticket. I don't want the state party buying my ticket. I don't want the state party buying a ticket for like Sam Goldstein or Mark Rutherford or anything like that. Our big donors don't expect us to then turn around and buy them a ticket, but yet we have people within our state party who give a lot of their time and energy and effort, and this would be a nice reward to say, hey, let's go to the 50th. We would like to send you to the 50th anniversary of the National Party. Kind of my feel. Well, if we put it out there like that, then you get hurt feelings from people, like because now it's I asked and was told no, and I don't want to do that. Instead, maybe I'm thinking like district reps, like Mike has said, district reps suggesting names, and then we just pick the names from that. What do you guys think? Hold on one second. Okay, gonna recognize Rico Gonzalez.
I like the idea of nomination for the if the person nominated doesn't know the person. So, you want to show.
Yeah.
Would National tell us who's already signed up? We can always, reimburse them if they've already purchased one.
Again, that falls into yeah. I would say if like I'm going to use myself as an example. if I wanted to nominate you, I would reach out to you first and say, hey, if you had the option, the opportunity to go, if you were given a ticket to go, would you be able to get yourself there? And would you want to do that?
Not classes, but we would reach out to people who we think won't have the opportunity, will have the opportunity, but not the means. To make these that way we're not perfectly.
I'm gonna,
Amazing district rep, we need to do a fundraiser to help them out.
I'm going to recognize Mr. Lundy. Mr. Lundy, what do you think about this?
I mean, I don't know. I would go about it with that, obviously, make sure it's again, like, it's probably a good point. I mean, if they can afford it on their own, then I would do that. Find five people who actually go.
But no one never. Asking.
Is
I've
this,
already got a few meetings for the district. I don't know how to talk to them.
is this even a good idea?
Or, I mean, it's okay.
Mr. Nolan? Get a call, I'm gonna make it.
I mean, I like the sentiment of it. But I'm not sure if it's the best money, best money that goes to the state, sponsored by outreach programs in the state as opposed to 75 people to really want your high end rollers. There's the, lots of contributions. So these are people that have need, and they're going to sit there and see all these people, that they can't contribute. What the intention of the deal is for. But I suppose we need all sorts of people. So I understand the sentiment, I'm not sure it's the best use of it. But I'm very informed.
Hold on, wait to be recognized, please. I would say that, two points to that. The first one is we had 7 outreach events, seven district outreach events, just those. There's plenty of other events that we're doing this year and next year as well. The event itself, while they call it a gala, there's attendance for you, please, and then there's the VIP attendance. And the VIP attendance, which is the big banquet and things like that, that's where the fundraising is. The rest of it is actually just a celebration of the party history. It's not a fundraiser. It's a come be part of seeing the original founding document. Like literally, like it's the original piece of paper that they sat down, and I think it was Colorado Springs, and wrote out the platform on a piece of paper. The original platform. It's those kind of things that, I think to somebody new to the party, it may not be a big deal, but for somebody who's been involved in the party for years and been a volunteer, to send them to something like this, I think would really demonstrate that we appreciate their contributions, that this is a part of our history. And as far as national fundraising, while I don't want to hold a competing event, I really don't care if our people give them money or not, and that's on record. But I do get your point, Mr. Lundy.
It's the equivalent of giving somebody box seats at work, right? Hey, cool, go to the Boston game, right? That is kind of what we're talking about. What if you made it a fundraiser? I would totally sponsor this volunteers who've done so much work, and I'll donate $100 to help them out. What if you raise the money for it and get the people the nominations the same way?
It's short on time.
Sure is.
We have a week.
I'm sure you have an email list of people who talk to
I do. Um, so the time has expired on this item with no decision made unless there is a motion to extend time.
So moved.
Okay, it was moved by Mr. Morgan, seconded by Mr. Birch. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Guys have it. I don't know how we do this process. There's some good points on how to do it. While I was the one who brought this up, and I do think it's a good idea, I do think that within the time constraint that we have for the early, because that's actually what I was thinking was the early bird ending the end of May. I think that it may be a better idea to just let this go for now. And instead, maybe put together something which is not dependent on a sponsorship of encouraging people to sponsor people to go. Just promoting it out there and saying, hey, even though it seems kind of dumb, like why would you do that? Actually, yeah, I mean, it's I've received 3 emails about it. One of the emails I received was because I'm the state chair and they were asking state chairs to promote it. And I was like,
Oh, so that's why you got.
no, I really don't care about that. I mean, I personally give my monthly to national, but I don't really particularly, I'm more focused on raising money for the state party than for the national party. However, this is something that is a big event that I would like for as many of our people to go to as possible. And I have been thinking that this would be a good reward opportunity for people. But I also think that maybe this is something that had they put this in, because they didn't, had they put this information out a month ago, maybe we could have done this. But I think maybe we're up against a deadline that's not going to be attainable and we'll end up falling short. Unless we want to just blanketly buy 5 tickets that we then end up giving out however we want.
That's what I assume.
Kind of, but I kind of wanted us to have a process in place, but I think maybe the only way I think we could do it moving forward is if somebody just came forward and said, hey, you know, I got this guy in the 5th district. But then if we only have 5 and there's 70 districts, somebody's gonna get angry. The district didn't get one. Hey, actually, that's an idea. I mean, it's only $400 more. Why don't we just get one for each district that has a rep? That's the punishment for not having a district rep.
That's where I think you were gonna go.
And you, as the district rep, pick somebody. Whatever metric you want to use, you contact to them.
However arbitrary and capricious it might be.
Right. As long as it's not you or your spouse or sibling. Or employee, or lover, side chick, whatever. What do you guys think about that?
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. No. He said we could do magnitudes of that. Mr. Morgan.
Thanks.
Yes.
I was just going to chime in about whether it was a good idea. I think it's a damn good idea. I was going to make the suggestion, like having district reps come up with suggestions for who, but since you brought up the one per each district. You've more or less stolen my thunder, so thank you, Loki. So that's pretty much all I have to say, other than just it's a damn good idea. So I say go for it as soon as possible.
I recognize everything you said, except for the fact that you're implying that you would be Thor. And
No, I'm I'm implying I'm Cap,
well,
who can carry the hammer, by the way.
I would entertain a motion to authorize the expenditure of funds to secure 7 regular gala tickets for the 50th anniversary, with each gala ticket to be distributed by each district rep. One ticket per district rep at their choosing.
So moved.
Yes. You pick the member.
Make sure you trade some favors for that.
Let me know when you're caught up, because I've got some addendums to this. Addendums. Terms and conditions shall apply. Essentially, what I'm going to say is that you can't give it to yourself or a
Can I
close
give it to
relative.
the former Allen County Chair?
Why?
He's been running with Democrats.
Right, so actually, I don't think it's.
Oh.
What caveats did you want to add to that?
I think his membership expired just after the county convention.
What caveats did you want to add?
The caveat being that the ticket shall not go to the district rep or district rep's immediate family.
Yeah.
The ticket must go to a current LPIN party member. Directors not receiving it, yes. Directors don't get a ticket to give out, but the directors can't receive it. No member of the how about just say the no member of the SCC, immediate family member of the SCC. And the recipient must be a LPIN party member and confirm that they will and can attend. We don't want you to give them the ticket and say they can go, and then they not show up. I'm going to be after you. If your person doesn't attend, I'm going to be like, Christy, your district, the state party, $200. So I would entertain that motion as stated.
And does it have to be someone from your district?
I mean, it probably should be someone in your district, but I mean, I feel like if you wanted to give it to somebody in the second district, sure. I mean, I guess.
You have to put that in the.
I'll take it,
You can't, you're an SCC member.
but I'm not giving it to myself or my immediate family.
That's not a bad idea.
What is the deadline to pick the recipient of the ticket?
I'm
I'm going to use it to curry favor. And
honestly, I think we can probably set the name at any point. Let's say August 1st. Arbitrarily. So I would entertain that motion as stated.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Williams, seconded by Mr. Haynes. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll move to a vote. Let's, Mr. Nolan, do you want to voice vote? Do you want a roll call? No. Okay. Let's do a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. I'm going to redo this vote because there was a lag, and I'm not sure if you were voting nay or aye. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Okay.
I do have a
Mr.
procedural
Schulteis,
question.
I don't care about your procedural question. One thing, Mr. Schulteis, I will get with you on how we make that, because you'll be the one that'll have to make the payment to the National Party. We'll work with them on purchasing those, but we need to do it before the 30th. What is your procedural question, Mr. Schulteis?
Do we anticipate National having an issue changing the name of
No,
the ticket recipient?
no. Because we're buying them in bulk and then telling the name to be, it'll be fine. I've done that with National.
Okay.
So it should be fine. What time is it? 1:50. I would move to table the fundraising for the SCC and the LPIN events to our next meeting, or to be discussed via email. There is no action on those items. They were just discussions. Is there any objection to that? Hearing no objection, I would ask that we recognize Mr. Lundy for a period of 5 minutes to talk about his YL experience. Is there any objection to hearing from Mr. Lundy for 5 minutes? Hearing none, Mr. Lundy, you have the floor for 5 minutes. So.
So Young Americans Delivery, I don't know where the whatever, but they do offer free training in Texas there. Kristen and I went to training last Saturday. It was good. It was, it was free. Looked into it if you can into it. One of the things me and Kristen came away with is we're actually pretty impressed with our campaign manual that we put together, because a lot of what was discussed and the all-day training, the 14-hour training, it's been our candidate manual. We already seen it. We picked up a couple of these tips. It's always helpful to have these in your head, to get it in both, manual form and a lecture form and Q&A form. You really got to return a great meeting last night to find what we learned. So it was really good. It's nice that, again, it's free. If you can get into their training, it doesn't cost you anything. Why wouldn't we soak that up and bring that into parties, right? They're not super keen on sponsoring libertarians or endorsing libertarians, I guess. They kind of want to run as Republicans. They appreciate it. The interest of rejecting that outright and loudly. It's bashing the GOP partially. So it was a small crowd. I think normally they have a lot more people. It's only 6 races there. There's multiple states, Kentucky, from Ohio, obviously. But it was good training. It was a good time. For the people who lead this to be there. In fact, the sections that they taught are probably a little bit more out of. So yeah, I think it's important to go out and find training where you can and take it. We don't have to, we're still in the process of trying to get some good training in the party, and there's something Tim pushed for, and something Evan's been looking for. That candidate manual is good quality stuff. You have candidates running on any level. I don't care if you're running with dog test or whatever, that candidate manual will walk them through it. It's a 2-year calendar. If you're running in 2022, you're party time. I'm playing my race in 2023, so that's why I'm going next. We're going to the manual now. So So get on. There are resources out there to find. Specific questions or something you want me to.
Any questions for Mr. Lundy? All right, thank you, Mr. Lundy. Announcements. Are there any announcements from any board members? Mr. Noble.
I have a question about that. So where are we at with regard to the training that's going to be by the national?
It is still, we've executed that agreement with the venue. They've got, their people are scheduled from national to come in for that.
So what was the date on that?
October 16th, I believe. I do not, because we don't get that information.
Is there a place to sign up?
Yes, yes, there is. And we're gonna send out an email as well. It's on the National Party's website.
Okay.
It's because it's their event. We are just not posting.
50 people are signed up already.
I think so, yeah.
And that was like tied to other regions.
Yeah, I mean, the second biggest, I think, was Pennsylvania. And it's like, again, Indiana and Pennsylvania, we are in a cat fight for who's the best affiliate in the country.
Hasn't that applied?
Exactly.
I mean, legitimately, they're kicking our ass. Did you see how many people attended their state convention? No. It was almost 500 people.
Yeah, but how many were actually from Pennsylvania?
Like 10. And actually it was very interesting, and I thought that's actually a really good idea. If we didn't hold ours in the middle of the winter, we could probably do it too. But they had a really nice big outdoor tent, and it was big, and it didn't cost them a whole lot of money to put on their convention. But they don't have the same nominating process we do. They have to run. They have to get petition signatures, which don't open up until later in the year. So they have to hold their conventions a little bit later than we do. We have to have ours kind of done essentially when we do. But it's really nice. But they've got more elected partisan libertarians than we do. Work out neck and neck on paid membership. I think we're very close to each other too for National Party membership. But they're doing really good. To the point where now when I get calls or emails from people within Pennsylvania asking for help with something, I tell them I don't know. Figure it out when you're in. I'm just kidding. I don't do that.
If it was me, I
So that's where we're at with that. I think it's moving along, but we're going to be putting out a thing about it soon. I don't necessarily think there's a big urgency push for it right now because it isn't until October. And I don't want people to forget about it is the thing too. But I may ask Lori to create a graphic for us, a social media package promoting it. That way we can put it in our email signatures like I did with the convention. Hey, Danny. Hey, Danny, can you ask Lori to do that?
No, I won't ask.
Any other announcements from the board? Mr. Haynes.
Just one more time, next Saturday, May 29th at 1 p.m. we're going live. To draw for our raffle award the winner. Anyone wants to come out, we're trying to do it again.
Do you have any raffle tickets here for sale?
I
Boy,
brought
that's
cash.
a screw up, isn't it?
I even
Well,
brought.
I figured I picked all your pockets enough.
We get paid.
Yeah. Well, never such things, like, first of all, no such thing as picking your pocket and nothing.
Well, I'm not sure, so,
Can we get them the day of?
yes. Before the one being drawn.
I mean, I can't buy tickets after the drawing.
Yes, you can. I'll sell you all the tickets you want.
Can I get them at a discount? Can I get like a bulk rate?
Right, yeah. Sure.
Also, don't forget the event on July 10th in Lawrence, Indiana, in Bedford. Bedford. I mean, I was assuming Bedford because I don't. Is there anything else in Lawrence County?
Mitchell.
It's Salisbury. No, that's Greene County. Yeah. Okay. Any other announcements? June, yes, it is in the 8th district.
Wilson Park and Keene have years, deal.
Yes.
There are a few parks there that are district there. So we're going to find a few of those, talk with Parks and Rec Board. And
Yes.
some supplies here.
Can we drive second? Can we drive the lane? I mean, it's not a car.
I've been there before.
Any other announcements? Any announcements from the guests? Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed nay. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.